Good morning, everybody. Give me 1 second and we'll get started. Says it's working. All right. It says it's working. Here we go. About to find out. Here we go. Says I have a screen up. Let's go see if I have the screen or do I have the black cone of shame. I can't rely on you guys. You don't tell me. You tell me like later in the day after you make fun. It's actually pretty mean. Let's go take a look here. See what we got going on. Do we have the black cone of shame? Yep, the black cone of shame. All right. So my tech friend said he fixed it. And that was a lie. Sugar-coated lies. All right, good. No bonding. Sorry, I'm not going to play with it today. We have too much to do. And so I'll find like a photo I can put here or something every once in a while so it feels like we're bonding. Let me just make sure that the audio is correct. Audio is good. Camera's working perfectly. I don't know what the issue is. But it is what it is, and we're not going to spend time on it this morning. We'll just go bondless. There's a lot to go over in a short time to do it. I'm going to cover what I think is the most important things for everybody, and I think that's where I can add the most value. And I think that you should start with just the basics. You're going to see tons of movement around here and tons of pontification about this means that and this means that. And I'm going to save everybody a lot of time here. No one has a clue what any of this means. What I would say to you is understand that nothing's even been placed into effect yet. All right. We had a market that is only down 1.5% on this. They're killing tech, which really makes very little sense to me because all of tech, like software companies, there's no barriers. There just isn't. So I do understand the Nvidia move, and I understand why they would be hitting Nvidia, quite frankly. Like that actually makes sense to me why they would be doing that. And I think some of that is just fear because, and I'm long Nvidia, I want to be clear about that. I think some of that's just fear because they're in a position here where they're like, we don't know what to expect here. And I think that's valid. Like they just don't know. Is this the one I want? No, this is let's do this one. And then we'll go here and make this bigger. They just don't know what to expect. So what I would be doing with the day is I'd be watching this and just reading all the news. I don't think that you need to put yourself in a position where you're first here. This is where people make huge mistakes on days like today. And I will just say that my experience in doing this, that's really where you run into a problem. Now, I do want to spend some time on the indexes so that we're on the same page, but I really want to get that out there. Like sometimes less is just more. Like just get a cup of coffee, get a nice book, let it all settle itself out before you rush in. You have earnings this week. No one's even talking about that. They're talking about, what their what Canada's going to do, what US is going to do. I try to keep the politics out of this as much as possible. Some of this is just not going to be possible to keep the politics out without offending people. And the facts are, this is not a trade war. It's not, no matter what people think. A trade war implies that both sides can hurt the other side greatly. That's not the case. It's just not. So I don't know what Canada's plan is. I think Mexico has a much different issue than Canada. And I don't think that Canada should be aligning themselves with the way Mexico is going to have to act on this. And the way that these tariffs were placed, and this is really important that people get this, it was national security. So once that issue's fixed, he cannot leave these on. Just understand that. Like, once you understand the mechanism in which he was able to do this, you'll know that he can't just leave them on in perpetuity. So this becomes an issue. And so he's going to want to address it before it's taken from him. And he's not dumb. So just understand that. You're hitting the 100-day here. I always look at these gap down bars, and you want to say how you acted in that area. And this is exactly how you acted in that area. And you haven't gone anywhere, guys. You just haven't. A matter of fact, if you did the simplest of things and you just took this bar and you said, are we net buyers or net sellers since the news? And we'll go here. What we'll do, we were playing around last night in the community. If you are on the wait list, look for a letter to get an invite in there. And what we'll do is just put the 50 in there. They'll be going out this week. But you see that 50%, the demarcation line? And I know it's not a fib level, but it tells you, are the sellers in charge or the buyers in charge? So if you look last night, you can see, right, what was going on there, okay? And then you can see right in here how you broke and flipped around 3 in the morning. Well, what opens at 3 o'clock in the morning? If you're a futures trader, you should know what opens at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you shouldn't need me to tell you. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to be mean. And then when you see how this goes, you can go look it up. Now you have homework today. And then you can see the test, and now you're here. Does that mean that you've bottomed at that level? I don't know, but I know when the market opened here at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can just see the movement, all right? And I think that if you just look at it from that perspective and understand, here's your 100, here's the election high, which is roughly 6,000, right? And here's Itchy's FOMC moment and the October 24 PPI level, and look at how you held there. I think that's really important. What I would say is this: the other key level that's a minor level is right here. You're not able to sustain anything off the open from that print. And I think that's pertinent. All right. And I do think that you want to pay attention to that. All right. I do. I think that's very important to understand. And I think that's very important to pay attention to. That's my point. That's what, if I could tell you like one thing that I really think that you need to look at, it's that. Okay. And then if you go and take a look here at the NQ, and I think I'll take questions today. I'll try to take a bunch of questions for everybody. And we're going to do an impromptu, we're going to start doing impromptu Q&A sessions too. I think it'll be fun. So we'll see how it goes. If it sucks, we'll stop. But I don't think it's going to suck. I think it's going to be fun. The PCE date and December contract roll is exactly where you held on the NQ, which is, that 21,000. Similar area. You didn't come down as far. Sometimes I think I have this wrong. I have that on the 200 here. I'm going to make that 100 here just so we can take a look at it very quickly and go from there. And then we will be set up there as well. All right. And that will tell me where the 100 is. Yeah. So the 100's there. And so you're going to have a wall here to get through, guys. This is not going to be easy to get through. So there's a bunch of stuff here. And, just to put this in context, I'll go back a little further, and then from there, I'll show you everything that's there, and then we can go forward. But let's take a look at this. So if I go to that peak, there you go. And then I go to the day when, hold on, where is he? Orange man reelected right there. Okay. And then we go back to the 5-minute. All right. See all this right here? I've got the July CPI negative month over month level here. I've got the end of Itchy's FOMC conference in here. I have the 55, I have the 22, and I have 2 pain points for VWAP sitting right there. So like, that's not going to be easy. What you want to do is the rallies into this, you're going to want to consider that's probably where you're going to want to lighten, right? Okay. And you're not going to want to put yourself in a position there to really build into this. You'd build now with this as a low, or you'd build on the test down with the way up. But are you going to gap fill or get into there? Yeah, I think you are. And I think that's really important for people to get. So keep that in mind, and then we'll go from there. And I do think that's very important. And then we'll go from there. What else? And let's see something here. What else do I have? That's really the big ones that I want to go over. I have a bunch of names to go over. I do want to answer questions. So there's probably going to be some really good questions today. So I would think we'll go back to this here, and I'll drop it like it's hot here, and then we'll just go to a bear chart so that I can answer your questions. And then we'll go from there, and I'll drop this to the E. And let's take a bunch of questions today. I think it'll be a good day for questions. There's a lot of earnings this week and a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts. So let's do it. 463 in the room. If everyone could stop, drop, roll, and hit the like button. JP coming in first over John, over Bob. Good morning. I asked this several times. I'm unsure if you purposely ignored it. Wow, it sounds like my ex-wife. I just want to know if your Nvidia dragon pattern is still valid. I know she skipped my question like the plague. Once you see it, I don't know that I'm doing that on purpose. But man, you came in early just to make sure that I got to it. So let's do it. All right. So let's clean all this off. Right. So where is the pattern? Right. See the pause, the head, the hump. You're over. Okay, are you below the pole? Did you break any of this? Right, so to me, no, you're not. What some people would say, and this is where it could negate, some people would say when you broke the hump, that's it. I don't view it that way. I view this as a super long pattern. Like, I don't view this as like a small pattern. I view this as a super long pattern. For someone like me, it's not until it breaks down like through these poles. Not everybody's going to go through that. And there are people that would completely disagree with what I'm saying. And that's why charting is an art and a science. But if I am to look at this, I guess in a way you're asking me to kind of like, draw. So, but which we'll do. We'll draw. Guys like my drawings. My singing's better, just FYI. And the joke telling's amazing. But, if you look at your little levels here, like that's kind of how I see it. Now, if you were to say to yourself, okay, like here's your little, I'm going to just put the head here. But even though I think it's more down there, we'll just close it here for a second. We'll just put it up here. Actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to put it down right here like this. Then I'm going to close that right there. I'm going to clone that right there. All right. Yay. And we'll just look at it that way, even though I kind of feel like this is more the head, to be honest with you. I do. I feel like that's more the head. But to me, it's under that second paw. These are massive patterns. So like I always look at them and say, yeah, when you see them, like I always look at them and say like those tails are vicious. So, those tails can be all over the place. If you've ever seen, any drawing of a dragon. And then, so I tend to look at it that way. And if I break that second paw, you're busted. But if that's what you're asking, yes. Is there other stuff in here that's completely, utterly busted? Yeah, 100%. And the other thing you can always do with it is just go here, JP, just click the button and look at it. But to me, no, it's not at all. It's not busted at all. Matter of fact, I can't even get there. But that's a very long-term pattern. Some people would say after you flip the hump and then you break the hump, that's it, you're done. It depends. I don't really view it that way. I view it as a very long-term pattern. I would also view, like some people are going to view this. Oh, I broke there. Some people are going to view that one. There's different ways to view this thing. And, charting's an art and a science. Just deal with it. It just is. And I think you have to make it, what's up for you. Like, am I adding to it right here? I mean, I own it. I'm not going to add to it today, but there's fundamental reasons, or I should say macro reasons. I'm not sure Trump just doesn't come out and say, Singapore, no chips for you, just kind of like, like Seinfeld soup Nazi. So I'm not sure that he doesn't do that just to shake things up and see what sticks. I mean, the guy throws pasta against the wall and see which piece sticks. Like, it's pretty obvious what he does. Like, there's a method to it, but it could happen. But to knock off on too many tangents and check my ADD, I would say that, yeah, it's still, to me, it's still there. What's going on, Albino? So great. It is aggressive. That's what I would tell that's what I used to tell my marriage counselor. Good morning from Houston. What's up, Bob? Good morning from Detroit. Love our Canadian Mexican neighbors. Yeah, what's up with that? Huh? Coming in hot this morning. Jeez. I saw a meme. It was hysterical. It was like Canadians refusing to buy like Heinz ketchup. It's really funny. Someone did a really funny skit on it. I was dying. I should send it to my Canadian friends. It was really funny. Good morning from Chicago suburbs. I don't know that tariffs are going to kill the financials. I think what's going to scare the financials is the bond market. Bond market looks scared. I don't know. It looks awful scared, right? I mean, they actually bought the 10-year. They were so scared of interest rates. Okay. So that's why all these names are selling down. I'm not sure how long these things stay down. I mean, these prints are kind of stupid, but we'll see. It's going to be a rough day off the open anyway for people. It's going to be tough. So I am really surprised how well China's holding up. Like, really surprised. I'm short China right now, and I'm just looking at it like I'm up, but it's interesting. I'm surprised how weak Tesla is still, but we'll see. It's early. I'm long there. It's not going well. I've had things go well for me before. They don't look like this. And we'll go from there. I would look at the names that are being resilient and focus on those. That's what I would definitely do. I think that's the way to go about this. So what names are being resilient, what names are coming out with earnings, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, PLTR, what's up, Steve? It might not be the worst time to look at like something like a Sophie. PLTR, yeah. I think that the way to look at PLTR is, how have you been acting since Asia opened? And it's just been net buying. I would expect weakness near the open, but I'm not so sure. I'm really not. Like, I look at how this is playing out, and I've got some moves that I'm not really crazy about here, but I don't know that I have to. I don't know that I have to do anything yet. I do think people are going to want to be in this for earnings. This was a turning quarter for them. This was a big turning quarter for them, and you had institutional support here, if you remember. So I would expect this to be a really good quarter. The question really becomes, what happens if they miss? I think if they miss, they get bought. Like, I think even if they miss, they get bought. So I don't know how, I think options might not be the way to go if you've got the guts to hold. I shouldn't say it, but if you got the guts to hold stock, this might actually work out. So you're just starting your breakout of this trade. So we'll see. I mean, we're like, oh, it's had such a huge run. I mean, I know you have government contracts and you're, the AI company. So this can go. This could have legs, but we're going to have to see how that plays out and go from there. But I do expect you to be, all over the place today, like all over the place today. Really, it's kind of funny because they're killing a bunch of these names like Kava. I guess the avocado market's going to be a disaster. So everyone's like afraid of, oh, you're not going to get your avocados or your berries. I don't know. Maybe they'll make someone else will grow an avocado tree. So like the thought process on where they're going with this is kind of silly. we'll see how this plays out and how we really open. Is kind of where my head goes with it, but we'll see how that goes. I do like PLTR. What's up, Sean? I think that you have to look at it this way. I think you have to go this way with it and look at it and go, like, what is really affected by this and how long does this go on for? It's so fascinating because people are going, oh, well, the tariffs they're going to hurt the GDP and it's going to be this or that. Man, these same experts told me that, China was going to grow at 5% last year. Like, so I don't think anyone has a clue. If you have tariffs and then he has tax cuts in the US, which is where he's going with this, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to have like 3% GDP. Easy. The more concerning issue, I think, for us as investors, if I can tell you anything, how I view this whole thing, is the speed and rate of change that we're not going to be used to. That's the one thing that I took from this. Like, okay, we're in January 20th. Okay, here we are, February 1st. Bam, tariffs. I mean, it's been 10 days. Like, how extensive talks could you possibly have had, right? And he doesn't care. He's like, oh, this is what we're doing. And so if I could tell you one thing that I would take from this is that the speed of change is going to be insane. So that the volatility of the market is going to increase greatly, which is great for traders. But you have to trade. You can't just hold because it's up, right? So I think when you start thinking about it that way, yeah, it could be a real pickle. But that's where my head is with it right now. The speed, the one thing I know from it, the only thing I can tell you, if you're nervous, just don't trade it. What's up, Steve? The one thing I can tell you from experience with all of this is that if you're nervous, don't trade. If you're hit, then you're hit and just stay out of the way, right? What you don't want to do is you don't want to put yourself in a situation where things get worse. And so what I tend to do in these situations really is, even if I have great names, I don't usually add to them until I see like clarity. And I go and do different trades, which is what I'll do today. I already know what I'll do today. I'll do completely different trades than the names that I'm already in, because then I can assess those with a more clearer mind. And it doesn't take as much energy mentally, frankly. So that's kind of where I go with it. What's up, Jacob? Good morning from Japan. Good morning from Miami. I got to tell you something. I read this, and I'm not a doctor. I just play one on YouTube, and I can't get over that. That's all this moved. I was really thinking about it. Like, is it just because everyone's scared of anything that was near an opioid? I remember when I had surgery. Like, I had a pec tear, and I was like, came out of surgery. I'm like, I'm tough. I don't need anything to deal with the pain. And I got out of the surgery, got a cup of black coffee. And then that night woke up in a cold sweat. And I took one of those, I think it was an Oxycontin or something like that, or Oxycodone. And I woke up in a cold sweat and wanting another one. And I'm like, screw that. You could feel it, right? And I never took another pill, ever. I never take anything like that. But the point being, there's a market for this. So we have the drop, as if it was not going to get approved, is what I'm under the assumption with the name, Jacob. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know the story. So you get this drop, and I can only assume it's something that leaked on this, and then it gets approved. Maybe it was the panel suggesting this. Usually it's a panel ahead of time. And so what I get about it, or what I'm trying to figure out, is what's next here. I'm in the same area and this thing got approved. It just seems to me like it should be higher, unless people are scared of it or they don't think the market's as big as that, right? One or the other. And I think that's very important for us to kind of go from there. But we'll see. BJ's, Walmart, all those companies, I think BJ's, Walmart, Cost, I think they can get smoked. And I think they can all, the Walmarts, the Targets, they can all get smoked. TPR was one of the names I was long. I closed specifically because I thought this, it makes sense that, the retail names can get absolutely destroyed here. I do believe that. They're the ones that are going to be at risk with China because their goods and the marketing of those goods, right? I don't understand, like, and I get it, it's risk off, right? But like, why are you killing, CRM? It doesn't make any sense. And then we'll go from there. To me, it makes the most sense, I guess is the best way to say it. So just keep that in mind. To me, it makes the most sense. I think the software names make the most sense. The retail coming down makes the most sense too. So out of all of it, because the price point is different. That's why I'm saying that. I don't know where Apple goes, man. I had a beautiful short on that the other day, like beautiful, like it's going to be in my textbook when I write my textbook. Where does that go? I don't know. I mean, China's already going after them. They already created a subsidy to like punish Apple. So, I mean, this was before any of the tariff news. That's why I'm so shocked that people are like, what do you mean? Like, go look at the subsidies that China just put out there against Apple. I did a whole video on it. I don't know. I thought this quarter was disgusting. And the only reason the quarter went up was, and you always want to watch this stuff, guys, when you're trading after hours, which is like, guys, it's the Wild West. Please understand that. And I do it, but it is the Wild West. If you look at this, you moved $1 trillion company in 5 minutes. That's just short covering. So when you see stuff like that, like I tried to short it, didn't work. I came in the next day, made it like a 50 cents or whatever. And then we got back up here. I just shorted it and we killed it. I'm actually going to go through that trade tonight. I think in tonight's video, you're probably going to want to watch it, how you can nail these. But to me, looking at it, I don't know. I mean, where are you going? Like, where does that go? Do you need to sell this again? Do we have to get out of this again? Like, I'm not so sure on that. I think what I would be looking for off the open is how bad does this really get? Like, how bad is this going to be? Is it going to be that bad? I don't have an answer to that yet, man. I truly don't. So I think what we have to do here is say, settle in, let it settle down, and then let's go from there. I think that's the best way to look at it. But with regards to Apple and kind of go, okay, well, what's Apple going to do? It's not the name that I would go near. They have a lot of risk. Like if China wants to play ball, like China's a trade war. Canada is not a trade war. Mexico is not a trade war. Canada it's not. There's partnership agreements between places that we share borders with, and they'll figure that stuff out. I think there was a more tactful way to do it, but whatever. So I think you have to look at it and say, with China, that's a trade war, man. Like they're the second largest economy, second largest GDP out there. We're first. They have a lot of issues. But if they wanted to really put the screws to U.S. companies, they could. Like Apple is 20%. 20% of Apple's revenues is China. If they want to play games, they could. They could crush Tesla. Tesla even knows that. That's why Tesla started going into Europe and trying to get into India. So, and Apple knows it too. That's why they're all going into India more, which is way more, hospitable and more welcoming. But yeah, that's the 800-pound gorilla in the trade war is not Mexico. It's not China. It's not Canada. They'll fix that stuff out easily. They will. But what will happen is the war with China, like the trade war with China, like that's an issue. That's a real issue. And we saw those supply lines during COVID and how attached we are to one another. So that would be a problem. And so I don't know that I'd be bottom fishing that. But yeah, I mean, PLTR is holding nicely here, dude. I mean, there's no other way to say it. I mean, that's holding very nicely to me. Like, what are you down, $1? The whole market is like, Kevin Bacon in Animal House, and PLTR is like, just sitting there. But we'll see how it goes. I think some of these names and where they're looking to open, like people worry about their avocados or their blueberry smoothies. It's kind of silly, but whatever. We'll see how it goes. What else we got here? One from Jersey, one from Miami. I'm waiting and seeing, I think. Yep, maybe. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun one. I don't know. I don't know why he did what he did. I actually know. Well, that's not true. I know why he did it the way he did it. He's giving China a chance, is what I think he's doing. And he knows that he can fix Mexico and Canada way faster. He can't fit, like, that part's actually really smart. Like, why did he do that? Because he knows that, like, he knows he can fix Canada and Mexico way faster than he can fix China. China's way too intricate. There's so many moving parts there. So, you hit him with a jab, and Xi just did the same thing back. He's like, we're just going to fly with the World Trade Organization. You can't do that. And that was the right move. And then, we'll have a phone call if you want. But meanwhile, he started a process. So I think that's a big deal. And I think there's a branch there. I am shocked by that. I am shocked by that. And I think that is something that, not by the move, because I thought that if you were going to do, like, my thought was, if you were going to do tariffs like that to Canada and Mexico, you were going to do that to China too. And he did not do that. So I do agree with that. That is shocking. And maybe that's why it's not down as much. I'm short China, and I look at it like, okay, so what are we doing here? And I do think that is a pickle. And we'll go from there. So it's 8:55 here, guys. And the guy is supposed to tell me that is not here telling me that. So give me a second here. No bonding today. And we'll go from there. No, it was not my grandkids yet. Let me just run through these real quick. See if there's something else there. Drugs are bad. Okay. Thoughts on ALF? Isn't there a market like hugely China? Isn't that like, and that's Estee Lauder too, right? Okay. So it's probably not something to really get involved with right now until we figure this out. Happy Monday. Zebra. All right, let's mix it up. I don't know, Lisa. I don't know that I'd be doing that in the earnings. No. I mean, I wouldn't. Why is the acceleration to the downside here? Last couple of earnings, like, were good, right? This was your turnaround. You got institutional support. See, institutions can hire analysts. You can't hire analysts, right? We can, but we can't. So, like, not the same caliber. So, like, they have their analyst. The analyst crunches the numbers, says, hey, this is going to continue, beats expectations over and over again. Oh, look who came to work. And then you kind of go from there. So I do agree that it could have a good earnings quarter, but I don't know enough about it. TER. Oh, crap, I didn't do this. Boomer. Come on, Boomer. Get it together, Boomer. I mean, I think you already got your trade there. I think the trade already happened there, honestly, to look at that. And then go from there. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of names out there today, and then we'll go from there. And then we'll get that done. I'm going to run through this super quick, and then I might try and start a little earlier tomorrow than 8:15, guys. Just make sure that you subscribe to the channel and click all notifications, because the timing of videos might mix it up a lot. On when these videos come out and everything. So just be aware of that. All right. So Enough with the dragon. I like the nuclear names. I will not be ignored. Put the rabbit down, Lenny. Good afternoon from South Africa. Good afternoon. Good morning from Miami. Hello, my friend. IBM looks like a monster. IBM was one of those trades when I went back, Ferdinand, and was looking at my Friday. 25 years, I still review. I went and looked at this thing, and I'm like, man, why didn't I do that? That Starbucks, someone nailed Starbucks. I'm from New York. I'm from Miami. Thanks, man. That video took like 10 hours. It was a long one. Brother, I'm short, Baba, and he's even talking about pulling the tariff. Like there's like this loophole tariff, and it's still not down. So, at some point I look at this and just go, what am I really fighting here? Like I'm missing something. Like these names should be down 10%. Instead, US is down 10%. So, and I just think that's because people are scared. But, I tend to not go near these names, like the OKLO and the NNEs now. And I'm just going to tell you why I don't, because they don't have revenues. So I don't go near anything on pullbacks that don't have revenues because they might not come back. So gold looks like the safe haven. That might be, Dylan. Yes. Oh, there it is. Hey, Greg, is that what it is? Their drug does not do what they want it to do. Got it. All right, well, there it is. So the drug came out, but it's not as potent. All right, thanks, Greg. So the drug came out, but it's not as potent. Thanks, Greg. Because I'm just trying to figure it out, and I didn't have time to do it. No, I don't have to do it. You saved me an hour. Perfect. Thank you. I love, guys, if you're in a field and you know something, please share it with the class. Please give me a like. I'd stay away from energy till we figure this out. ARM, you have earnings this week, man. I wouldn't stand in front of that. Yeah, I think that too. Like he understands, he respects it, and he's like, okay, well, it's way more intricate than we think it is. It's a bold move, Cotton. See how it plays out for him. And we'll go from there. Trade to win, everybody. Have a great day.